The standing men turn, see her. The kneeling man, bloody, terrified, sees her too. His eyes, please, help, run, something. The man holding the gun, Kang Ji-hun. He looks at Imara. She looks at him. Gun still pointed at the kneeling man's head. 4 seconds of eye contact. Then Ji-hun's eyes flick to his associate. She saw. I'll handle it. The associate moves toward Imara. She doesn't run. Learned long ago that running from predators makes them chase. She stands still. Every survival instinct she developed after age 9 activating simultaneously. Wait. The associate stops. Ji-hun studies Imara. She studies him back. Doesn't drop her eyes. Doesn't cower. Just watches. Assesses. You work here? She nods once. You speak Korean? She nods again. Then answer me. What's your name? She doesn't answer. Can't answer. Points to her throat. Shakes her head. Boss, she's mute. I know her. Been here 6 months. Ji-hun's eyes narrow. Thinking. Calculating. Then he does something that changes everything. He lowers the gun. You get to live, because she can't tell anyone what she saw. He shoots the floor next to the man's head. The man screams, runs when Ji-hun gestures for him to leave. Now it's just Ji-hun, his associate, and Imara. You didn't see anything tonight, understand? She nods. If you tell anyone, sign language, writing, smoke signals, I don't care. I'll know, and I'll find you. She nods again. What's your name? She pulls out her phone, types, shows him the screen. Imara. He reads it, looks at her. Something shifts in his expression, not softening, but interest. Imara. Strong name. She doesn't react. You're not afraid of me. She types again. I am. I'm just good at hiding it. He almost smiles. Almost. I want her watched, 24/7. Make sure she doesn't become a problem. You want me to watch, not eliminate, not yet. He walks past Imara, stops right next to her, close enough she can smell his cologne, expensive, cedar and something sharper, close enough she can feel the heat coming off him. Leans in, whispers near her ear. I'm going to be watching you, Imara. Every move, every day. Don't make me regret letting you live. He leaves. Imara stands in that VIP room for 3 full minutes, alone, heart pounding, hands shaking. Okay, before we continue, my dad made a bet that this channel would not hit 1,000 subscribers. I want you guys to prove him wrong by hitting that subscribe button now and comment where you're watching from. US, UK, Africa? And real talk, if you saw what Imara saw, are you running or are you standing still? Because survival instincts are wild, and I genuinely want to know what you'd do. Welcome to Black and Korean Chronicles. Imara just witnessed an execution. The man who almost killed her instead decided to keep her alive, not because he's kind, because she's mute, because she can't tell, and because, whether he knows it yet or not, he's already fascinated. This one's going to hurt beautifully. Let's go. The watching started immediately. Imara felt it the next morning. Walking to work, someone following 3 cars back. At the restaurant during her shift, a man at the corner table who never ordered, just sat. Leaving work at 3 a.m., headlights that stayed exactly 4 car lengths behind until she reached her apartment. She wasn't surprised. He'd said he'd watch her. She believed him. What surprised her was how careful they were. Professional, not threatening, just present, like having a shadow made of people. 2 weeks passed. She kept working, kept living, kept not telling anyone what she'd seen because there was no one to tell and nowhere safe to tell it. The execution played in her head every night before sleep. The kneeling man, the gun, Ji-hun's face when he decided to let her live, the way he'd leaned close and whispered. She hated that she remembered the way he smelled. Week 3.
Thursday night, 11 p.m. Imara was cleaning the VIP room. Different room, not the one where it happened, but close enough to make her hands shake slightly when she pushed the door open. The room wasn't empty. Ji-hoon sat at the head of the table, alone, expensive suit, glass of whiskey, looking at his phone like he owned the world, because he probably did. He looked up when she entered. She froze. "Come in. Close the door." Every instinct screamed to run. She stepped inside, closed the door. He watched her. She watched him back. "You've been careful. Haven't told anyone. Haven't written anything down. Haven't even looked nervous when my people follow you." She didn't respond. Couldn't. "Ji-hoon, sit." She stayed standing. He almost smiled. Defiant. "I like that." She pulled out her phone, typed, "What do you want?" "Ji-hoon, to talk." She typed, "I can't talk." "Then I'll talk. You'll listen." He gestured to the chair across from him. "Sit, please." The please surprised her enough that she sat. He studied her for a long moment. She studied him back. Noticed things she'd missed during the execution, the scar on his left hand, the way he held his glass, the exhaustion around his eyes that expensive suits couldn't hide. "Ji-hoon, do you know who I am?" She typed, "Dangerous." "Ji-hoon, specifically." She typed, "Rich, connected, someone I should stay away from." "Ji-hoon, smart, but you're here anyway." She typed, "You told me to come in." "Ji-hoon, you could have run." She typed, "Where? You have people watching me everywhere. Running just makes predators chase." He leaned back, impressed. "You've thought about this." She typed, "I've thought about nothing else for 3 weeks." "Ji-hoon, are you afraid of me?" She typed the truth. "Yes." "Ji-hoon, then why don't you look afraid?" She typed, "Because fear is loud. Silence keeps you safe. I learned that young." Something shifted in his expression. "How young?" She hesitated, then typed, 9. "Ji-hoon, what happened when you were 9? She didn't answer. Some truths were too heavy for a phone screen.
He didn't push, just nodded. "The man you saw me with, the one on his knees, he stole from me, from my organization. He knew the consequences." She typed, "You didn't kill him." "Because you walked in." She typed, "So I saved his life." "Accidentally." She typed, "And mine. Did I accidentally save that too?" He was quiet. Then, "I don't know yet." She should have been terrified. She was, but she was also curious. This man who'd almost killed her, who was watching her, who'd summoned her to talk, he was different than the monster she'd built in her head. Still dangerous, still violent, but also tired, lonely, human in ways she hadn't expected. "Ji-hoon, I'm going to offer you something. You can say no. If you do, my people will stop watching you and you'll never see me again." She waited. "Because you can't repeat what you hear. Because you're observant. Because—" He paused. "Because I want to know what it's like to be around someone who isn't afraid to look me in the eye." She typed, "I'm terrified of you. But you don't show it. That's the difference." She typed, "What if I say no?" "Then you say no. I keep my word." She typed, "You're a criminal." "Yes." She typed, "You kill people. When necessary." She typed, "And you want me to serve you dinner?" Among other things. The way he said other things made her skin warm. She ignored it. She typed, "I need to think. You have 24 hours. She stood, started to leave. "Imara." She turned. He was standing now too, walked around the table, stopped close to her, not touching, but close enough she could feel the space between them like a physical thing. "Ji-hoon, I don't usually give people choices or time. You're different. I don't know why yet, but you are." She looked up at him. He was taller than she'd realized, broader.
This close, she could see the exact color of his eyes, dark brown with flecks of something lighter. He reached out slowly, giving her time to move, and brushed a strand of hair from her face. His fingers barely touched her skin. The touch lasted half a second. It felt like lightning. Ji-hoon quietly. 24 hours. Think carefully. He left. Imara stood in that VIP room, hand pressed to the spot on her face where he'd touched her, and understood with absolute clarity she was in danger. Not from violence, from something much more complicated.
She said yes, not because she trusted him, because saying no meant looking over her shoulder forever, and she'd already spent enough of her life doing that. The mansion was in Gangnam, old money disguised as new architecture, security gates, manicured gardens, the kind of wealth that didn't announce itself because it didn't need to. Her first day, a driver picked her up, silent, professional type, drove her through gates that opened automatically, up a driveway lined with trees she couldn't name. The head of staff, Mrs. Choi, 50-something, efficient, met her at the door. "You're the new private server." Not a question, an assessment. Imara nodded. "You don't speak?" She pulled out her phone, showed the pre-typed message. "I'm mute. I communicate through sign language, typing and writing. I'm a hard worker. I learn quickly." Mrs. Choi read it, nodded once. "He told me. You'll serve dinner tonight, 8 p.m. Just him and potentially business associates. Set for 4, prepare for 6. Standards are high. Questions?" Imara shook her head. "Good. Kitchen is through there. Dining room is east wing. Stay out of the west wing. That's his private quarters. Understood?" Imara nodded. Mrs. Choi softened slightly. "He's particular, but fair. Do good work, you'll be fine." 8 p.m. Dinner. Imara set the table according to Mrs. Choi's exacting standards. China that probably cost more than her monthly rent. Crystal that caught light like captured stars. Everything perfect. He entered at 8:03, alone, no business associates after all. Expensive casual, dress shirt, no tie, sleeves rolled to forearms, hair slightly damp like he'd just showered. He looked different here, less polished, more real. He saw her, stopped. "You came?" She nodded. "I wasn't sure you would." She pulled out her phone. "I said I would." "People say a lot of things." He moved to the table, sat at the head. "It's just me tonight. You can set for 1. She began removing the extra place settings. He watched her work. "You move quietly." She typed, "Habit." "From being a server?" She typed, "From before that." He didn't ask, just watched her arrange his single place setting with careful precision. When she finished, he gestured to the seat beside him. "Sit." She hesitated. "I don't like eating alone. Sit, please." She sat, 2 chairs away, safe distance. He almost smiled. "Afraid I'll bite?" She typed, "Assessing the safest proximity." "And 2 chairs is it?" She typed, "For now." He smiled then, brief, real, smart. Mrs. Choi brought the first course, soup, French onion. The smell filled the room. He ate, she sat. He noticed. "You're not eating?" She typed, "I'm staff." "Your company, eat." She didn't move. He set down his spoon, looked her directly. "Imara, eat. That's not a request from an employer. That's a request from someone who doesn't want to eat alone." Something in his voice, genuine, lonely. She pulled the bowl closer, ate. It was perfect, rich, complex, exactly the right temperature. They ate in silence, not uncomfortable, just quiet. She noticed he ate methodically, no wasted motion. Years of practicing control extended even to meals. "Tell me about Kenya," he said suddenly. She typed, "What do you want to know?" He thought, typed, "Nairobi is loud, colors everywhere, matatus painted like art,
Street food that makes Seoul's best restaurants jealous. Ugali and sukuma wiki. Nyama choma on Sundays. My grandmother's hands making chapati. He read it. You miss it. She typed, every day. Why did you leave? She typed, had to. The thing that happened when you were 9? She looked at him. He looked back, steady, not pushing, just offering space if she wanted to fill it. She typed slowly, my father. He drank, got angry. One night it was bad. I screamed for help. He made sure I never screamed again, damaged my vocal cords permanently. His jaw tightened. Where is he now? She typed, prison. My mother left him, brought me to Seoul, fresh start. She died 3 years ago, cancer. I stayed. I'm sorry. She typed, don't be. I survived. That's what matters. He was quiet for a long moment, then, you're stronger than most people I know. She typed, I had to be. Strength isn't a choice when weakness means death. I understand that. She believed him.
They talked, him speaking, her typing, through 3 courses. He told her about growing up in this house, about a father who built the organization through violence and strategy, about inheriting both at 25 when his father was killed by a rival, about 9 years of consolidating power and eliminating threats and never once feeling safe. She told him about learning sign language, about the deaf community in Nairobi that became her family, about discovering that silence wasn't absence, it was a different kind of presence, about moving through the world, reading body language, micro-expressions, the things people said without words. You see things others don't, he said. She typed, I have to, it's how I survive. What do you see when you look at me? She studied him, really looked, typed carefully. Exhaustion, loneliness, control that costs you, intelligence, danger, and something else, something sad, like you're tired of being what you are but don't know how to be anything else. He was very still. Then, that's accurate. She typed, I'm sorry. Don't be, it's the truth. He pushed his plate away, looked at her. What do I see when I look at you? She waited. Strength, defiance wrapped in survival. Someone who's been broken and put themselves back together alone. Beauty you don't know you have because you're too busy calculating danger. He paused. And something that scares me. She typed, what? Someone I could trust if I let myself. The air between them changed, charged, heavy with something unnamed. Mrs. Choi entered with dessert. The moment broke. After dinner, he walked her to the door himself, stood close, not touching, just close. Same time tomorrow? She nodded. Good. He reached out, slowly, giving her time, and touched her hand, just his fingers against hers, brief, intentional. The touch burned. Good night, Imara. She typed with her other hand, good night. She left, sat in the car, looked at her hand where he'd touched it, understood that she was in more danger than she'd thought, because she'd just had dinner with a killer and enjoyed it. 3 weeks of dinners. He talked, she listened and typed back. They discussed everything, philosophy, food, art, violence, morality, movies, music, the price of power. He learned her signs for common words. She learned the cadence of his speech. They sat closer each night, 1 chair apart, then side by side, then his hand occasionally on the table near hers, not touching, just near. Mrs. Choi noticed, said nothing, but Imara saw the concern in her eyes. Week 4, Friday, 8 p.m. Imara set the table for 2 as usual. He'd started insisting she eat with him every night, said meals were better with company. She'd stopped arguing. He arrived at 8:05, later than usual. Stressed, tie loosened, ran his hand through his hair, a tell she'd learned meant difficult day. She pointed to the chair. He sat. She poured him whiskey without asking. He took it, grateful. "Thank you." She typed, "Bad day?" "The worst." He drank. "Sometimes I hate this, all of it, the organization, the responsibility, the choices." She typed, "Why don't you leave?" "And do what? This is what I am." She typed, "You're more than what you do." He looked at her, really looked. "Do you believe that?" She typed, "I have to. Otherwise, what was the point of surviving?" He set down his glass, stood, moved to her chair, knelt beside it so they were eye level. Close, so close she could see every detail of his face, the small scar above his eyebrow, the exact way his eyes changed color in different light, the way he was looking at her like she was solving an equation he'd been trying to work out for weeks. Imara. Her name in his mouth like a question and an answer simultaneously. She didn't move, didn't type, just watched him. He reached up, cupped her face with one hand, gentle, asking permission without words. She didn't pull away. He leaned in, slowly, giving her every opportunity to stop him. She didn't. His lips touched hers, soft, questioning, a kiss that felt like a leap off a cliff neither of them had planned to jump from. She kissed him back. It lasted 5 seconds, felt like 5 hours. He pulled back, rested his forehead against hers, both breathing harder. "I shouldn't have done that," he whispered. She pulled out her phone, typed with shaking hands, "I didn't stop you." "Why not?" She typed, "Because I wanted you to." Sound of the front door opening, voices, multiple people. His entire body tensed. Shit, my mother. She wasn't supposed to be here until next week. Footsteps approaching, fast, expensive heels on marble. The dining room doors opened. An elegant Korean woman in her 60s, perfectly styled, cold eyes that could freeze fire. She saw her son, saw Imara, saw how close they were standing. Her face transformed into fury. "What is this?"
He stepped between Imara and his mother immediately. Protective stance, deliberate. "Answer me. Who is this woman and why is she in your dining room looking like—" She stopped, composed herself with visible effort. "We need to talk, privately." "Mother, this is Imara. She works for me." "Works for you?" Her eyes raked over Imara, saw the simple clothes, the server's posture, the dark skin, connected dots she didn't like. As what exactly? "Private server. She manages my meals, certain events." "I see. And does your private server typically dine with you, at your table, close enough to—" She stopped again, voice dropping to ice. "We need to talk, now." She turned, walked toward his study, expected him to follow. He looked at Imara, conflicted. She typed quickly, "Go, I'll clean up." "I'm sorry." She typed, "Don't be. This was inevitable." He touched her hand once, brief, then followed his mother. Imara cleared the table with shaking hands, heard raised voices from the study, Korean too rapid and angry for her to fully follow, but she caught words, inappropriate, embarrassing, servant, what were you thinking? Mrs. Choi appeared, helped silently, then quietly, "You should leave early tonight." Imara nodded. "And dear, be careful. His mother is formidable. She won't make this easy." The shouting lasted 30 minutes. Imara was almost finished cleaning when the study door opened. The mother emerged first, saw Imara, walked directly to her. stopped 3 feet away, looked her up and down with surgical precision. "You don't speak." Imara shook her head. "Convenient. Can't talk back. Can't defend yourself. Can't tell anyone what you see or hear in this house." She stepped closer. "Did you think that made you special? Safe? Let me be very clear. You are staff, nothing more. Whatever you think is happening between you and my son, it isn't. It won't. Do you understand?" Imara pulled out her phone, typed, "I understand you're scared." "Excuse me." Imara showed her the screen. "You're scared your son is choosing someone you didn't select, someone who doesn't fit your world. I understand, but I'm not here to threaten you. You already are a threat by existing in his space, by making him look at you like—" She stopped again, reset. "You will resign tonight. I'll compensate you generously, but you will leave this house and never contact my son again." Imara typed, "Does he know you're offering this?" "He doesn't need to know. This is between us." Imara typed, "Then the answer is no." "You don't understand who you're refusing." Imara typed, "I understand perfectly. You're a mother protecting your son, but I'm not your enemy, and I don't take orders from you." The mother's face went cold. "Then you take orders from him, and I guarantee when I'm done talking to him, he will tell you to leave, personally." She walked away, back into the study, door closed. Imara stood there, waited, knew what was coming. 10 minutes later, he emerged, alone, face unreadable, walked to where Imara stood in the dining room, stopped, looked at her. She waited, already composing her resignation in her head. "My mother wants you gone." Imara nodded, started to pull out her phone. "I told her no." Imara's hands froze. "I told her you work for me, not her, that who I hire isn't her decision, that this is my house and my life, and I'm 34 years old and done letting her dictate either." Imara stared at him.
He stepped closer. "She told me I'm being foolish, that you're inappropriate, that people will talk, that a Mafia boss can't be seen with a mute Kenyan server, that it damages everything she's built." Imara typed with shaking hands. "She's right." "About which part?" She typed, "All of it. I am inappropriate. People will talk. This doesn't make sense." "I don't care." She typed, "You should." "Why? Because she said so? Because society said so?" He moved closer still. "I've spent my entire life doing what makes sense. Strategic marriages, calculated alliances, appropriate choices, and I've been miserable." She typed, "I'm not a rebellion. I'm not a statement. I'm just—" "You're someone who makes me feel human," he interrupted. "Someone who sees me, who talks to me like I'm not just the organization or the violence or the power, who makes dinner feel like something other than a transaction." She typed, "That's not enough reason to—" "It's the only reason that matters." He took her phone gently, set it aside, took both her hands in his. "I know this is complicated. I know my world is dangerous. I know my mother will make your life hell. I know 1,000 reasons why this is a terrible idea." She waited. "But I also know that for the first time in 9 years, I wake up looking forward to 8 p.m. I know that talking to you is the best part of my day. I know that kiss wasn't a mistake. It was the first honest thing I've done in years." She pulled one hand free, typed on her phone with the other. "Your mother will never accept me." "Then she doesn't have to. This is my choice, not hers." She typed, "What are you saying?" He was quiet for a moment. Then, "I'm saying I want you to stay, not as staff, as more. I don't know what that looks like yet, but I know I don't want you to leave." She typed, "People will destroy you for this. Let them try."
She typed, I'm not appropriate. You're perfect. She typed, I can't even speak. You say more without words than most people do with them. She looked at him, this dangerous, powerful man who just defied his mother for a woman he'd known 4 weeks, who was looking at her like she was the solution to an equation he'd been trying to solve his whole life. She typed, this is insane. Completely. She typed, it won't work. Probably not. She typed, I should leave. Please don't. She stood there, phone in hand, every logical thought screaming to run, every survival instinct activated. And then she did something that surprised them both. She reached up, pulled his face down to hers, kissed him. Longer this time, deeper, with intention, with choice. When she pulled back, she typed, I'm staying, but not as staff, not as secret. If I'm doing this, I'm doing it as your equal, or not at all. He smiled, real smile, the kind that transformed his entire face. Equal, I can work with that. Good, because your mother is going to declare war. He pulled her close, rested his chin on her head. Then we'll fight it together. From the study, they heard the mother's voice on the phone, angry, rapid Korean, already calling in reinforcements. Imara pulled back, typed, what now? He looked toward the study, then back at her, decision made. Now I introduce you properly, to everyone, as the woman I'm choosing. Let them deal with it. She typed, when? Tomorrow, family dinner, my mother, my aunts, my cousins, everyone who has an opinion about my life. She typed, that's suicide. That's honesty. He kissed her forehead. You said equal. This is what equal looks like. You walk in as mine, not as staff, as mine. She typed, and if they refuse to accept it, then they refuse, but you'll still be here.
Saturday, 7 p.m. The family dinner. Imara stood in front of the mirror in the guest room he'd given her, wearing a dress he'd had delivered that morning, deep emerald green, elegant, expensive. Nothing about it said staff. Everything about it said chosen. Her hands shook as she smoothed the fabric. This was insane. Walking into a room full of people who would hate her on sight, who would see her dark skin, her muteness, her background, and decide she was unworthy before she took 3 steps. A knock. He entered, stopped when he saw her. You look beautiful. She typed, I look terrified. That too. He crossed to her, took her hands. You can still say no. We can do this differently, slower. She typed, no, you were right. If we're doing this, we do it honestly. I walk in as yours, or I don't walk in at all. Then let's go. He offered his arm. She took it. They walked downstairs together. The dining room was full. 15 people. His mother at one end of the table, face already set in stone. Aunts, uncles, cousins scattered around, all dressed expensively, all turned to look when they entered. The silence was deafening. He walked Imara to the seat beside his at the head of the table, pulled out her chair. She sat. He sat beside her. No one spoke. Finally, his mother. Everyone, this is Imara. She'll be joining us tonight. A cousin, young, fashionable, sharp, said what everyone was thinking. Is she staff? Should we be expecting a performance? No, he said calmly. She's my guest. Treat her accordingly. Guest or something else? Something else. The room erupted. Not loudly, these were wealthy people. They erupted in polite knives. But the judgment was immediate and unanimous. Perhaps we should discuss this privately. No. He stood. The room went silent. I'm going to say this once. Imara is not staff. She's not temporary. She's the woman I'm choosing, permanently. Get used to it.
Choosing? For what, exactly? For everything. You can't be serious. She's— Be very careful with your next words. The uncle stopped. The threat was clear. Surely you understand this is sudden. We don't know anything about her, her family, her background. She's Kenyan. She's brilliant. She's stronger than anyone in this room. That's all you need to know. She can't even speak. How can she possibly— She communicates perfectly. You're just not listening. Imara pulled out her phone, typed, showed the screen to the table. I understand you're all uncomfortable, but I'm not asking for your approval. I'm here because he asked me to be. That's enough for me. If it's not enough for you, that's your problem, not mine. Did she just— How dare you speak to us that way? She can speak however she wants. He sat back down, put his hand over Imara's on the table, public, deliberate. Anyone who has a problem with that can leave. No one left, but the tension was a living thing. Dinner was served, awkward, hostile. Imara ate silently while conversations happened around her like she wasn't there, dismissive, rude, calculated. She typed to him privately, "They hate me." He typed back, "They'll learn." Halfway through the main course, his mother stood. "I'd like to speak with you, privately, now." "No. This isn't a request." "Then it's a demand I'm denying. Sit down, mother." She stayed standing. "You're destroying everything I built, everything this family stands for. For what? For her?" "Yes. She's a nobody. She has nothing. She can't speak, can't contribute to this family, can't— Enough." His voice cut like glass. "You don't get to decide what she can or can't do. You don't get to decide who I choose. That time is over. You're my mother, and I'm grateful for that. But I'm also a grown man who spent 34 years living for your approval. I'm done."
The table was frozen. This kind of defiance didn't happen in their world. "If you do this, if you elevate this woman to any position in this family, you'll regret it. They'll eat you alive, your organization, your rivals, everyone. They'll see it as weakness. Let them. You willing to risk everything for her?" He looked at Imara, then back at his mother. "Yes." The mother's face crumpled, not with sadness, with fury. "Then you do it without my blessing, without my support. You're on your own." "I've been on my own since I was 25. I'll survive." She grabbed a purse, looked at the table. "Anyone who stays is choosing him over me. Choose wisely." 2 aunts stood, followed her out. The rest stayed, uncomfortable, but stayed. After the door slammed, the sharp cousin spoke. "Well, that was dramatic." Nervous laughter. The tension cracked slightly. The uncle who'd almost insulted Imara earlier cleared his throat. "I apologize. That was uncalled for. Welcome to the family, Miss Imara." It wasn't warm, but it was acknowledgement. Others followed, polite, careful, acceptance born from pragmatism. He'd chosen her. Defying his mother publicly meant he was serious, and they'd rather be on his side than hers. After dinner, everyone left quickly. Awkward goodbyes, curious glances at Imara. Then they were alone. Imara typed, "Your mother hates me." "She'll come around." She typed, "No, she won't, and you just chose me over her, your own mother." "I chose us. There's a difference." She typed, "This is insane. Your family thinks I'm a gold digger. Your organization'll think you're weak. Your mother'll never forgive you. All because of me." He pulled her close. "All because of us." She typed, "Was it worth it?" He kissed her, long, deep, the kind of kiss that answered questions without words. When he pulled back, every second. 6 months later. The announcement came through official channels. Engagement. Not to some chaebol daughter, not to an appropriate match. To Imara Okafor,
former server, Kenyan, mute. The gossip was vicious, the judgment swift, but he didn't care. His mother refused to attend the wedding, sent a card. "You've made your choice, live with it." They did. The wedding was small. His loyal people, her friends from the deaf community, Mrs. Choi, who cried, the sharp cousin who'd become unexpectedly supportive. No mother, no blessing, no traditional approval. But when he said his vows and she typed hers on a screen for everyone to read, "I choose you, every day, in every way, against every voice that says we're wrong. I choose us," no one doubted it was real. 1 year later, his mother requested a meeting, first contact since the engagement. They met at the mansion, Imara present. He insisted. The mother looked older, tired. She looked at Imara for a long time, then did something no one expected. She bowed, full traditional bow, deep respect. When she straightened, "I was wrong about you, about this. I let pride and tradition blind me to what my son needed. You make him happy. I see that now. I'm sorry it took me this long." Imara pulled out her phone, typed, "Thank you. That means everything. May I start again with both of you?" He looked at Imara. She nodded. "Yes," he said, "you may." Imara never spoke aloud, never needed to. She became the queen, not of an organization, she refused that completely, but of his heart, his home, his life. She opened a school, teaching sign language, employing other disabled workers, building something that mattered. And every night they had dinner together, just them, talking in the language they built. His words, her signs, their shared silence that said everything. She'd witnessed an execution and survived. He'd found someone who saw him and stayed. That was enough. That was everything.
And that's how a server becomes a queen. Not through him elevating her, through her refusing to be anything less than equal. Hit that subscribe button, share this, comment where you're from. Tell me, would you have walked into that family dinner? Because Imara did, knowing they'd hate her, knowing she'd be judged. She did it anyway. Until next time, see you in the next story.